Delicious content creation. We're coming back. We are going to make the next recipe in the 7 Simple Suppers cookbook. None of these recipes are in order. They're just the 7 Simple Suppers. Now, this is going to be super fast because all you need is a potato. Okay? And we're going to use video magic. And bam, now that potato's peeled. So get 2 potatoes. Video magic. 2 potatoes this size. We're going to do a double recipe. One for spicy people and one for people who don't like spicy. I'm going to peel this potato. We're going to choppy chop and cutty cut and all the great stuff that we do in the delicious content creation. The only other 2 ingredients, my people, are, once again, delicious carne. This is steak because I have enough money to buy steak, and this is freaking delicious. Once again, salt and pepper. Salt and pepper, guys. We are going to flip these over and give them some more salt and pepper, so you'll see how much to put on there when I re-season the other side. But we also have a surprise, garlic powder. Now that doesn't make any difference when you make this recipe, because the other ingredient, El Pato, chili salsa de fresco, that's what it says here. But those are the only 3 ingredients. And what is El Pato? Well, it's the duck. This is El Pato hot tomato sauce. It's literally chili de rojo, Colorado, not chili de verde. But when we make this recipe, you're going to be eating delicious content creation. And also, one thing you're going to need to eat this delicious content creation is tortillas. Once again, you get the tortillas you like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and we're going to take that 1 potato. Okay, we had my phone decide to try to do an update, and it's a bad mother jammer because it wants me to go to some other version I don't want yet. We're doing content creation. So, once again, potato, peel it, potato, chop it. It should look like this. We're going to do the choppy again, choppy chop right in front of you. This is about 3 pieces. Doesn't really matter how thick. Look at that. See how that is? We got it right there. It looks like a regular potato. We're going to choppy chop. We want that size or similar, because when you cook them, they're going to be potatoes and they're going to be soft. So we're choppity, another whole potato here, and we are going to be doing a quick recipe. Do this to that. After you peel it, we'll be back. Delicious content creation. We'll cut up the meat, put it in the pan, put it in the sauce, put it in our mouth. Yeah! Delicious content creation, and we are back. There it is. 2 potatoes chopped up, chunky chunk. Now, you know, a lot of you people don't really understand that these potatoes are delicious, just raw. Listen to me. Delicious. Okay, so we're going to take that. We're going to take this meat now. Okay? This is the other side. Remember I said we couldn't season both sides, so we go heavy on one and not the other? Well, we didn't go heavy on the first side. We went normal. And we're going to go normal on this side. See, just a little salt. Just a little pepper action. Doodaloo, doodaloo, doo. Then, this one's going to have a little garlic powder. Oh, get the garlic powder. Not necessary. You're not going to taste any of this salt or pepper or garlic powder, because El Pato. This sucker is going to take up all the flavor. This is what we're eating. We're eating beef, potato, and El Pato. You're going to taste this with the potato and the meat, and it's screaming delicious. Okay, delicious content creation. We're back at the stove. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put that on 7.5. You know how we always have the 7.5 action. This is going to get hot, and that's going to make the pan hot. And what we're going to do is we're going to use just a little bit of vegetable oil to get these potatoes cooking. Then we're going to take the potatoes out and we're going to cook the meat. Now, once you got the potatoes cooked and once you got the meat cooked, You combine the meat, the potato, and the El Pato, and you let it simmer for a little while. So this is the next step. We're going to go ahead and get this pan nice and warm. We're going to put those potatoes in there. We're going to get them to go ahead and get nice and crispy. This is a small little pot. We took those 2 big old potatoes, we chopped them up into chunks, and they are going right into this pan. Now, as always, my guys, the best and only ingredients that you really only need as far as seasoning is salt and pepper. We're gonna salt and pepper these potatoes, but we're not gonna go crazy. You're not gonna taste that salt and pepper once you put that El Pato on. But the other part of this recipe is the potato and the meat without the El Pato. So we're gonna separate some, because my guy over here who lives in this building that I'm using his facility, he's not really into chili. And since I am using his place to do delicious content creation, we're going to give him some beef and potato without the El Pato. We're going to separate a little bit, but you won't see that. You will see it at the end where we separate it. And then the other one with the delicious chili, pato, potato, meat, and delicious. Did I mention it's going to be delicious? All right. We're doing the potato cook-up, and I'll be back. We're going to brown these up. We want them about halfway cooked because they're going to be simmering in sauce. So we're going to cook these about halfway, just so they're blanched, if you know what that word means. And if you don't, because seven Simple Suppers is about not knowing how to cook. So we're going to get these, a little bit of oil on them. Remember we put that oil in there? We're going to get them to mill around a little bit, and we're going to cook them up. We're going to get them soft, and the way that we do that is while it's cooking, we're going to put a lid on it. Boom. And what's going to happen is they're going to steam a little bit. As soon as they get about halfway cooked, this is going to take maybe 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. I will show you the consistency of the potato. Then we're going to cook the meat. Then we're going to put the two together. 7 Simple Suppers. This is El Pato. Delicious. Just a note, we got this sucker cooking with the lid on it. It's at 7.5 on the electric stove. And what's going on is these things are steaming, cooking. We're gonna make them about halfway cooked. We want them a little hard. We want them halfway cooked because they're gonna be in the sauce. And when they're in the sauce, they're gonna cook the rest of the way to where they're soft. But we don't want them to fall apart like mush. We don't want mashed potatoes. So you see how we're putting a little sear on there? We got them in there and they're cooking. This has been about 5 minutes so far. I'm gonna take one out. I'm gonna cut it in front of you. You're gonna see how thick it is. It's still very raw. It's see how hard that was? See how the outside is nice and soft looking and the inside's white like a raw potato? This is about almost where we want it. We're gonna let it go about another minute. Boom! We're gonna get it out. We're gonna put the steak in here. We're gonna burn that down. Then we're gonna make them together. Oh my God, delicious content creation coming your way. Cook them potatoes until they're halfway done. We're gonna boil them up in the sauce with the steak after we unify this and make the most delicious deliciousness. Delicious content creation, we're back. Here they are. These things are about more than a little bit halfway cooked. They're hard on the inside, they're soft on the outside. They're screaming delicious just the way they are. So if you were to do this and make it for breakfast, you could add some eggs, some sausage and bacon on the side of it, and it would be just super delicious. Now, we're going to put in the meat. Now, remember, this meat has been seasoned. Meat doesn't need oil to cook. It's got its own fats. It's got its own deliciousness. Look at that sucker right there. I should have cut that one a little bit smaller, huh? But that's just it. You're the cook. You're at home. It's delicious content creation. Cut it big. Cut it small. Don't cut it at all. No, actually, you do got to cut it up into chunks. We're going to fry this down. We're going to cook it well done. Again, remember, well done is what we're doing here. You don't have to be a pro. You just got to put it in the pan and burn it. We're going to take these potatoes. We're going to cook that meat. Then we're going to put in The El Pato. That's what this recipe is. El Pato in your face. You're going to eat this. It's delicious, delicious content creation. This is the main dish. You can make this for breakfast. You can make it for dinner. You can put beans and rice next to it. You can put some eggs next to it. You can make burritos out of it. Take it to work. It's time for delicious content creation. Be right back. Delicious content creation, we're back. Look at that. Look at that. That's all of the beef, cooking it up. It's got the boiling going on there. Oh my God. See, a little bit red because that don't matter. Potato time. Bam. Alrighty. Now what's going to happen is this is all going to melt together. And as soon as I mix this up, I'm going to separate just a little bit of this delicious content creation so that it's a side with no spicy sauce on it for my homeboy who's letting me use his place to do the delicious content creating. So we're going to go ahead and mix this together. Gonna mix it together. We want it to cook down, but there's no juice. We don't want it watery quite, but we can have it watery. But in order to separate a little bit from my guy, the guy that's over here, the guy that's got the spot paying for the electricity, what we're gonna do is we're gonna let this cook just like that. And we're gonna drop a lid on it for a few minutes. We're gonna put that El Pato in there, and then it's gonna be delicious. Separate a little bit for the guy. You can see how it's gonna look in the two different stages. With El Pato, I will be grubbing, and you will too. As long as you like spicy stuff, because for some reason this stuff isn't really spicy per se when you open it and just put your finger in there. But you add some heat and some food, a little salt and pepper. Spicy El Pato deliciousness. We'll be right back with delicious content creation. It's cooking. Look at that. Got that. This is actual time. I would say that this has been going for 2 or 3 minutes since our last clip. And all the potatoes are nice and soft almost. All the beef is cooking itself on down. Give it a little spin, a little stir. Cap it back off. Look at that, guys. That's what you want right there. Delicious. Look at that thingy. Woohoo! Oh yeah! Okay, we're back. Now it's time for the El Pato to be put inside of the sauce. So I am cutting open the can now. Here we go. And that's about it. Now what we want to do, like always, rinse out the can with just a drop of water, just enough to rinse it out to get all of the delicious content creation out of that can. So now, what we want to do is we want to mix this up and let it sit for a minute or two. Just let that all get in there. Let me move this out of the way. We want to get the sauce on everything because it's going to get thicker as it cooks. That El Pato, that's a magic ingredient for this. Now this is good. Let me tell you, you cook up this El Pato after it's done. You can have it, like I said, for a dinner. You can have it for breakfast with some eggs. You can make burritos out of it to take it to work with you. And you know, once this is cooked and the sauce is all blended in there, what happens is it gets thick. When it cools off, there is no sauce. It's just El Pato steak and meat. So, we're going to cook this for a couple seconds, maybe 1 or 2 minutes. We're going to let it go ahead and simmer. Then, we'll be right back. Delicious content creation. Okay, now this has been boiling really hard because it's still on 7.5. It's cooking. The sauce is in there. It's integrated. We're going to lower the temperature down to 0. Okay, we're going to give it a stir. I'm literally only 3 minutes or so from my last video, clip and interruption. Look how that is melting together. Okay, look at how it all looks so like glazed over. We're going to cover that. We're going to let it sit for a couple seconds. while the element burns itself down to 0, we want to let it sit and simmer a little bit like that, okay? Just for a few minutes. Not even a few minutes. Just until all that steam stops coming out. Just until we can't take it no more and we got to eat it. Just until we need to eat. Maybe I should just eat some right now. Let's go ahead and do that. Yummy! Potato. Let's try it. Now this should be al dente. A little hard, a little soft. Oh my God. Excellent. And that El Pato is freaking delicious. Okay, so what we're going to do now, this is done. We're going to serve some up. We need a couple of tortillas because we eat this with tortillas in our fingers. But, like I said before, if you want to make a main meal out of it, put some beans and rice next to it, maybe some eggs next to it for breakfast. You can always reheat it in the morning. It's just one of those meals that's just going to be delicious all the time, like the taco salad. If you cool it off and there's some left over, you put it in the refrigerator, you microwave it the next day, yeah, it might not be all crispy and crunchy like it was, but it'll be just as delicious. So let's go ahead and get this on some plates, get some tortillas, and I'll shove some in my mouth, and I'll show you the two differences between the beef without the El Pato and with the Pato. Be right back. Delicious content creation. Delicious content creation back at you. Now here is the beef without El Pato. Delicious. You can make a burrito, you can make a sandwich, you can save it for breakfast tomorrow morning, maybe lunch the next day. Here is with the El Pato, some Spanish rice. One day I'll give you this recipe. This is the El Pato sauce with the mix. The potato, it's spicy, it's meaty, it's delicious. And I am going to warm up some tortillas and eat it. Delicious content creation. Subscribe. Tell your friends. Cook these meals. Delicious. See you another day.